For our presentation of African American literature, we're focusing on universal themes of colorism, slavery, and religion. African American literature is a body of literature produced in the United States by writers of African descent. The genre traces its origins to works of such late 18th century writers as Phillis Wheatley, reaching high points with slave narratives in the Harlem Renaissance, and continuing today with authors such as Nobel Prize-winning Toni Morrison and award-winning Walter Mosley being ranked among the top writers in the United States. In broad terms, African American literature can be defined as writings by people of African descent living in the United States. As Princeton University professor Albert J. Roboto has said, all African American study speaks to the deeper meaning of African presence in this nation. This presence has always been a test case of the study's claim to freedom, democracy, equality, and the inclusiveness of all. African American literature explores the issues of freedom, equality, long denied to blacks in the United States, along with further themes such as African American culture, racism, religion, slavery, a sense of home, and more. My People by Langston Hughes. The night is beautiful. So are the faces of my people. The stars are beautiful. So are the eyes of my people. Beautiful also is the sun. Beautiful also are the souls of my people.
Colorism started off as just a way to continue to separate black. Lynch letter. He wrote a letter to American slave owners about how to control their slaves. He basically said to separate them every possible way that you possibly can. Put the tall slave against the dark slave, the women against the men, anything that was opposite from one another. And then it went the same thing for as light and dark. And something that stuck with us.
Growing up, looking the way I did on an island of soft brown girls or burnished ebony girls with their flashing teeth against that deep satin skin.
Girls who could summon all the beauty of midnight by standing arms akimbo in the full sun.
It was torture competing with girls like that. I think my aunt accepts the idea of my marrying you because any children we have will be lighter than I am anyway. She always said I was a little too highly visible.
You see, I told you they were old. She doesn't care much for white people, but she prefers light-skinned and blacks. Figured that out.
It's racism inside of a community that's already been discriminated against.
I don't really know how to say this, but
I had grown up enough to accept myself.
I have grown up enough to accept myself.
I had grown up enough to accept myself. I had grown up enough to accept myself.
I had grown up enough to accept myself.
Cross by Langston Hughes. My old man's a white old man, and my old mother's black. If ever I curse my white old man, I take my curses back. If ever I curse my black old mother and wish she were in hell, I'm sorry for that evil wish, and now I wish her well. My old man died in a fine big house. My ma died in a shack. I wonder where I'm gonna die, being neither white nor black. Confessions of Nat Turner by William Styron. I closed my eyes and rested my forehead against the windowsill. The darkness was comforting to my eyes. It had for many years been my custom to pray at this hour of the day, or to read from the Bible. But during the 5 days that I had been made prisoner, I had been refused the Bible. And as for prayer, well, it was no surprise to me any longer that I was totally unable to force a prayer from my lips. I still had this craving to perform a daily act which for the years of my grown-up life had become as simple and as natural as a bodily function, but which now seems so incapable of accomplishment as to resemble a problem in geometry or some other mysterious science beyond my understanding. I could not even recall when the ability to pray had left me. 1 month? 2 months? Perhaps even more. It might have been some consolation, at least, had I known the reason why this power had deserted me. But I was denied even this knowledge, and there seemed no way at all to bridge the gulf between myself and God. So for a moment, as I stood with my eyes closed and with my head pressed against the cold wood sill, I felt a terrible emptiness. Yet once again, prayer remained outside and apart from me, banned, excluded, unattainable, shut out as decisively as if walls high as the sun had been interposed between myself and God. So instead of prayer, I began to whisper aloud, "It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord, and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning." But even these harmless words came out wrong, and as quickly as I began, I ceased. The familiar diurnal psalms foul and sour in my mouth, and as meaningless and empty as all my blighted attempts at prayer. Beyond my maddest imagination, I had never known it possible to feel so removed from God. A separation which had nothing to do with faith or desire, for both of these I still possessed, but with forsaken solitary, apartness so beyond hope that I could not have felt more surrendered from the divine spirit had I been cast alive like some wriggling insect beneath the largest rock on earth, there to live in hideous perpetual dark.
There will be mountains that I will have to climb, and there will be battles that I will have to fight, but victory or defeat, it's up to me to decide. But how can I expect to win if I never tried? I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to lead me.